Okay, so if you're creative and you've ever felt like event planning is just this endless game of putting out one fire after another, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're about to dive into the JME Precision Method, a framework that's all about swapping that chaos for a real sense of calm and control. Let's get into it. So, why do we even need a whole new approach? Well, let's start with a number that probably won't surprise you one bit. A study by Zola found that nearly 60% of couples said planning their wedding was way more stressful than they ever expected. And, even though that's about weddings, it just nails a much bigger truth across the entire events industry. The process itself is just baked in stress. So, here's our game plan for how we're going to unpack the solution. First, we're going to look the problem right in the eye, that event planning burnout. Then, we'll explore a totally new philosophy and meet a new kind of pro, the creative operator. After that, we'll break down the architecture of calm and the Jamie ecosystem that makes it all work, all leading to this incredible state of professional sovereignty. All right, let's kick things off with the core problem. For what feels like forever, the event industry has kind of run on this unspoken rule, that your job is basically to manage chaos. Stress isn't seen as a problem to solve, it's treated like some kind of badge of honor, and burnout is just the price you pay to play. Sound familiar? I bet it does. This idea of constantly putting out fires is the industry standard. It's a story that has convinced so many brilliant, talented creatives that being completely exhausted is just the cost of doing the work you love. But here's the big idea we're exploring today. What if that whole story is just wrong? And this is the quote that flips the entire script. Structure is the sanctuary where creativity breathes. Just let that sink in for a second. Instead of seeing structure as this rigid cage that stifles creativity, this method reframes it as the very fortress that protects it. And that is a fundamental shift away from chaos. Okay, so how does an idea like that actually work in practice? Well, it becomes the foundation for a whole new philosophy. The entire JME Precision Method is built on one core shift: stop managing chaos and start, intentionally, creating clarity. And let's get something straight about a key word here. When we hear precision, our minds usually jump to something kind of cold, rigid, maybe even robotic. But this is all about reclaiming that word. Here, precision is about being intentional. It's a form of care. Care for your clients, for your team, for the vision, and honestly, for yourself. And this right here, this is the absolute heart of it all. It's not about getting better at juggling emergencies. It's about building a system so strong, so clear, that those emergencies rarely even happen. That's how you create the space for real, brilliant creativity to just flourish. Now, when you adopt a philosophy this different, something really interesting happens. It doesn't just change how you work, it actually changes who you are in your work. And this gives rise to a whole new professional identity: the creative operator. A creative operator is so much more than a planner or a producer. They're a leader who masterfully blends two worlds that are often kept separate: the artistry and the systems. And the result? It's an experience that feels effortless, totally seamless, not because of some heroic last-minute save, but because it was designed with precision from the very first day. I mean, this side-by-side says it all, doesn't it? The traditional planner is often reactive, just buried under a mountain of tasks. But the creative operator, they're proactive. They're focused on the entire system. They aren't just managing the stuff inside the building. They are the architect of the whole experience. This identity is really about wearing a lot of hats. A creative operator is a strategist, always seeing the big picture. They're a systems thinker, understanding how every little piece connects. But just as important, they're a calm presence, a protector of energy. I love that one. And they're a translator, bridging that huge gap between a beautiful vision and the reality of execution. So this all sounds great, but how do you actually do it? How do you operate like this? Well, it's not just a mindset. It requires a real, tangible framework, what the method calls the architecture of calm. And this architecture is built on 5 pillars that all work together. It all starts with clarity, truly knowing the what and the why. That clarity then informs the structure you build, the how. That solid structure is what enables sovereignty, which is your calm authority. This allows for really intentional execution. And then, finally, it all loops back to reflection, which just sharpens your clarity for the next project. See, they all feed each other. This chart just visualizes the engine of the method so perfectly. Clarity isn't just some vague goal, it's the solid foundation that actually supports your structure. And that structure, it's not about being limited. It's the launch pad that enables sovereignty, that grounded, calm authority we're all after. It's just a powerful chain reaction. Thinking this way also completely changes how you see the event itself. So instead of a long, linear to-do list, this method asks you to see every project as a living, breathing, interconnected system, the event ecosystem. And this definition is so crucial. An ecosystem isn't just your vendors and your venue. No, it includes all the stakeholders, the budget constraints, the communication channels, and this is a big one, the emotions and potential risks involved. It is a complete 360-degree view of everything that's shaping the final outcome. When you actually start mapping out this ecosystem, you shift from being reactive to being truly strategic. You're not just thinking about who to hire. You're proactively identifying emotional hotspots where things might get tense. You're not just making a timeline. You're spotting those risk points and building in buffers before they can ever become problems. The philosophy, that new identity, the architecture, the ecosystem view, every single piece we've talked about is designed to lead you to one specific place. The ultimate goal isn't just to understand a method, it's to live it. It's to achieve a state of professional sovereignty. So what do we mean by sovereignty in this context? It's self-possession. It's having emotional neutrality, even when things get stressful. It's leading with this calm authority that comes from knowing, truly knowing, that you have robust systems supporting you. This is the ultimate antidote to that industry culture of burnout. So let's be super clear. This is not just another productivity hack. The JME precision method is a fundamental transformation. It's a new way of working, it's a new way of leading, and it's a new way of creating that protects your energy and elevates your art. And that leaves us with one final thought to take with you. Forget about trying to overhaul everything all at once. Just ask yourself this one simple question. What is one small system you could build tomorrow whose only job is to protect your own creative energy? Because that is where this whole path begins.